keeping it, what are some ways? Because we are told to remember two parts in that first line. We're told to remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy. So how can we? And I don't want to speak about the works based version of keep it holy. I
Yeah.
want to talk about the spiritual based version of keeping it holy, remembering it and keeping it holy. What are some ways that we can do just that?
Yeah, I feel like the remember, because God knew that He knew the type of culture and society that
Mm.
we would be entrenched in, and
Mm-hmm.
He knew that we would be distracted and we would be
Mm.
pulled away,
Mm-hmm.
and so we needed. Don't forget to
Yeah.
come aside. Don't forget
Mm-hmm.
us. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Don't forget us. Don't forget to come aside.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in a relationship, like imagine you living your life, you're not calling, you're not texting, you're not spending
Mm.
any time with your significant other. What kind of relationship is that? You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Mm-hmm.
because of kind of where we are as human beings, he had to tell us to remember because he knew that we were going to get caught up. But
Yeah.
remember the Sabbath for me has a lot to do with how Jesus maneuvered, first of all,
Mm.
how
Okay.
he maneuvered with his father
Mm-hmm.
and his example, his model, and how he maneuvered with people, right?
Mm.
Intentionally. Um, let that become your rhythm, right?
Yeah.
Remember the Sabbath.
Yeah.
Keep it holy. It's set apart. It's
Mm-hmm.
special. It's
Mm-hmm.
unique.
Mm-hmm.
Why? That should drive us to why. Why keep
Yeah.
it holy? Like you said, we're not talking about checking off a list.
That's right.
We're not
That's right.
talking about do's and don'ts.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about putting ourselves in a position to be sanctified, to
Yeah.
to be transformed, right? But it's
Mm-hmm.
not just about me, because when you read
Mm.
the fourth commandment, it says your maidservants and
There you
your
go.
ox, and so this
Yeah.
is like a beautiful message that we can bring Sabbath to other
Mm-hmm.
people, right? We can
Mm-hmm.
bring rest
Mm-hmm.
to other people. I think about our fast paced society that requires people to punch a clock to keep
Yeah.
everything going.
Yeah.
Nobody gets to rest. You got 24-hour this, you've got shifts, you've got individuals, we've got a hierarchy in our economy, right?
Yep. Yep.
So you've got folks at the bottom who must work to
Mm-hmm.
keep everything going, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We have to pay bills. We've got all these financial
Right.
obligations, right? So we
Right.
got to keep going. Imagine this concept of rest, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Saturday. On Saturdays, that's one of the busiest days,
Yeah.
one of the busiest days for
Mm-hmm.
hospitality industry,
Mm-hmm.
for the entertainment industry. But
Yeah.
imagine this concept of rest. Listen, you don't have to grind
Yeah.
constantly without
Yeah.
stopping.
Yeah.
Imagine if we just shut down and
Mm-hmm.
gave people a day off, right?
Mm.
So I started thinking about, how do you introduce the concept of Sabbath to people who've never really thought about that?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think about, remember when the pandemic first hit and you had all the
Mm-hmm.
essential workers, all
Mm-hmm.
those folks
Mm-hmm.
who were forced to work to keep certain industries going.
Right.
So if a whole lot of people were just like, we're just not going to go to a restaurant today,
Right.
we're just not going to you know what I'm saying, and allow
Yeah.
people to, now that's,
Yeah.
it's not a perfect fix, right?
Right.
But
Right.
if we did things, because God
Mm-hmm.
asked us to love him and love people, if we did
Mm-hmm.
things on Sabbath to
Yeah.
help people rest,
Mm-hmm.
we need mental rest, we need
Mm-hmm.
emotional rest.
Mm.
Man, keep it holy.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like God is just like, let somebody else help somebody else
Yeah.
experience,
Yeah.
this rest, and then there's an opportunity for me to
Mm-hmm.
speak to them too. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? So I
Yeah.
just, yeah,
No,
yeah.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
JD, you got anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, come aside and rest a while.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is the command that we
Yeah.
have.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm going to agree with Jen. I think that also there are a few ways that we can practically just do it. You know, um, take off our shoes and just kick back.
Mm-hmm.
Go walking in the forest. You know,
Yeah.
spend time. You know, I might get stoned for this, but anyways, play games with your children.
Mm-hmm.
Play
Yeah.
games with your children.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be.
Rest.
This one get stoned for. It doesn't have to be we play Bibleopoly. You know,
Yeah.
it's a knockoff version of Monopoly.
Yeah. Yeah. From Egypt to Canaan, or yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
Right. Yeah.
anyway, you know what I'm saying? We know what all these things about. You know,
Yeah.
what I'm
Yeah.
saying is play games with your children.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Stop and play. It doesn't have to be. I remember Dr. Burton once said, I don't know if you remember this, but he said at one time, either Dr. Burton or Dr. Mosek, I think, said once that the children asked, "Can we watch TV on Sabbath?" And the response to them was, "On Sabbath we do what is wholesome and is right." And I think the child said, "But isn't that what we're supposed to do every single day?"
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Hit him, and that's what he was sharing. I think either Mozak or
Yeah.
said to me, um, that is what the Sabbath should do. It should
Mm-hmm.
bring us into a more holy living
Yeah.
uh, for each and every single day. So if you
Mm-hmm.
practice this Sabbathing, practice
Mm-hmm.
walking with your family, practice
Mm-hmm.
going in nature with your family,
Mm-hmm.
practice sitting with your family, practice
Mm-hmm.
with your family,
Mm-hmm.
celebrate your family. Interestingly enough, one of the things that people don't realize is that the Jewish community never fasted on Sabbath because they said that fasting was not a Sabbath thing. Feasting was for the
Feasting.
Sabbath.
Mm-hmm.
Fellowship meal on Sabbath so that
Yeah.
the family could come together and feast
Yeah.
together. So when
Yeah.
I practice fasting on Sabbath, every time
Yeah.
Sabbath, we're doing a certain amount of days
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
on Friday evening, sunset. I
Yeah.
break
It
my
rests.
fast, and
That's
so
right.
that I can enjoy being,
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
enjoy the Sabbath, because Sabbath should not be a drudgery. Sabbath should be something
Mm-hmm.
that you enjoy. Enjoy your
Yeah.
friends.
Yeah.
Put away the technology. Put away the video games. Put away
Mm-hmm.
all those things that becomes a distraction to you with your family. Because Sabbath is not only for you to get to know the Lord more solely. It is for you to get to know the Lord through a relationship
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
family
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
as well,
Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
church community as well.
Yeah. So it's two things that as you guys were talking that kind of just jumped into my brain. The first one was anniversary. My wife and I had been married a few years, and like maybe 2 years, and going into the third year, we it was our anniversary was approaching, and so yeah, it was about maybe our third going into our fourth year. But anyway, I had started to get into this tradition that we would go see a movie, we would go to Applebee's, and I would make a mixtape, and then we would go home, right? Happily ever after. So around the third time that this is about to approach, she says to me, we don't have to just go to Applebee's. We don't have to just do. You know what I mean? She's bringing to my
That's
to my
good.
attention that this isn't all that it's about,
That's good.
right? And so as I'm now preparing for that, I'm like, yes, how can I speak to her
Come on.
and celebrate this time as it approaches? So my mind is geared toward celebrating the person instead of just the day, right? And celebrating relationship that we have
Yes.
instead of just the day. And what does she need from me this year as this anniversary is approaching? What can I celebrate? Like what are some things that have happened since the last time that we can talk about, that we can celebrate, that we can rejoice about, that we can fellowship over, and allow that to be the joy or the bright spot in that moment, right? So I
Love
think the
it.
Sabbath is a time for us to really look at, what does God need from me?
Oh, I love
What
it.
is my thing that I can bring to him that says, this is why I love you so much since the last time we've come together, right? So how can we make the Sabbath an anniversary? But the other thing, because it's not just me, it's about he, but it's also about we. As Jen was talking, I thought about Zacchaeus. And there were people who knew that Zacchaeus couldn't see, right? It was people who knew that they were in
Oh,
Zacchaeus'
mercy.
way,
Wow.
and they refused to get out of the way. So Zacchaeus had to take drastic measures just so he could see Jesus.
Yeah.
So just imagine if somebody would have said, hey man, I'm gonna put you on my shoulders so you can hear what's going on.
Yes.
And so I think that's what the Sabbath really ought to become.
Yes.
As we become relational with the Sabbath, it's great for us to go out and do good deeds, but are we putting somebody on our shoulders and saying, hey, I'm trying to make sure that today,
Yes,
as our paths cross, that you get to see Jesus in the same way that I've enjoyed him. So I'm not going to be a burden. I'm not going to hinder you. I'm going to make sure that you get this blessing, because this may be the one time that me, you, and Jesus are all in the same place.
I love it.
So I think if our Sabbath takes on those kind of focuses of celebrating the relationship with him, but also making sure that somebody gets to see Jesus, then I think we will be really living the sabbatical lifestyle. I think we'll really be putting the Sabbath at front and center of our life, and it becomes a stronger testimony.
I love that. Yes.
Amen.
Amen.
So there's this argument